Well, hello and welcome to the Smart Google Traffic Session 5. And man, am I pumped to be sharing this content with you. I am Brett Curry. Ezra Firestone will not be joining us for this session, but that's okay. This is going to be a high-flying session. We're going to be covering what's become one of my very favorite channels, and I think this is going to be a channel you're going to fall in love with as well. It's going to do a lot for your business, and that is YouTube. So we're going to dive into YouTube. Before we do, though, I want to remind you of the ground rules. So again, this is the beta version of this course, and so you, as the select few that are participating in the beta, one, you get to give your impact, and we highly value, your input, and we highly value your input and your feedback. We're going to take the feedback you give us and use that to shape the production version of this. So as we create kind of a finished version that's going to be released in March, we'll take all of your feedback from the beta and use that as we put together the finished product. And so this is the beta. So you get access to this, and you get access to the finished course when it's released in March. But the benefit is you get to put this stuff into action right here and right now. Also, we are available for questions. So while this session is not live, you can still send us your questions. We're happy to answer those and help you out as you go through this process. So again, a reminder, and we've said this every session, but I think it's worth repeating. You want to be wherever your customers are. So, you're likely driving a lot of traffic through Facebook. You're maybe getting a lot of traffic from Amazon, or that's how you built your business, was Amazon. Now we're saying, okay, anywhere your customers are, let's be there so we can close the loop and get someone to purchase. Most purchase funnels, or most conversion paths that users take to buy, involve multiple visits to your site. And so likely that first visit to the site, someone's not going to convert. And so now we need to have remarketing efforts in place. And today is all about YouTube. And like I mentioned, this is one of my favorite channels. There's so much potential here. Google is innovating as well. And by the time the final version of this course comes out in March, we're going to have some new updates, some things that are in the works that that I'm privy to knowing about through Google, but that I can't release yet. Some different targeting options, some different things in YouTube that are going to be really exciting that we'll be able to talk about in the version of this course that comes out in March. So that I'm looking forward to sharing as well. For today, though, we're talking about using YouTube for remarketing. So this is kind of the final piece of the Google remarketing puzzle. So to recap, we looked at, hey, setting up your display remarketing. So Google Display Network, it covers, close to 90% of the web. And so, if you have your remarketing set up on Facebook and on Google Display Network, you can cover almost the entire web that way. We looked at your branded search campaigns, so your text campaigns going after people looking for your brand by name. We talked about that. We looked at Google Shopping and how to run Google Shopping both to a remarketing list or just to people that are searching for your brand by name. And so now we're digging into YouTube and really, really pumped about this. We're going to be focusing on a platform inside of YouTube called TrueView. And it's called TrueView because you only pay for the ad if someone actually views the ad. So we'll talk about what that means. But basically, these are the before videos. You've seen these on YouTube undoubtedly, where you go to YouTube to watch your favorite cat video, or maybe it's a how-to video. I always use YouTube if I'm forced to fix something around the house, which I try not to do a whole lot. I usually call someone. I'm willing to pay usually for things around the house. But if it's something I need to figure out, then I'll usually watch a YouTube video to see how that's done. So whatever video you're watching on YouTube, you get that pre-roll or before video that pops up with the little skip ad button. Looks like this on the mobile device, where you're able to skip that ad. And here is the beauty of this ad. You don't pay for it if someone skips it. And we'll talk about exactly what that means. The format we're going to spend a decent amount of time on in this session is what's called shoppable TrueView. And so if we look at this video now, recently I was researching the Pixel 2, and so I'll just admit I'm a fan of technology. I'm a bit of a junkie when it comes to mobile devices. I'm a Mac user. I've owned several iPhones. I like the iPhone, but I'm not this super crazy loyal guy when it comes to the iPhone. I would probably want to fight somebody if they try to take away my MacBook. It comes to the iPhone, yeah, I could give her, I could go without it potentially. Looking at the Pixel phone, comparing that to the iPhone 10, not sure which way I'm going to go. Right now, I'm leaning iPhone, just for those that are interested. But that's all beside the point. I had been researching the Pixel 2, the Pixel 2 XL, and this was an awesome ad. This is the type of thing we do for our clients. So I'm looking at this video is the truth about the Google Pixel 2. Boom. Really engaging title there. But before that video could play, up pops an ad for shopmoment.com. And as you can see where my arrow is there on the left, if I were to click on that, that'd take me right to the site. If I were to click the skip ad button, the advertiser would pay nothing, even though I've now seen a little bit of the ad and seen the URL. And then in the upper right, and I love this, this is one of my favorite ad units of all time, it's your Google Shopping ads, your PLAs, your product listing ads, like we talked about setting up last time. These are running right next to your YouTube video. So this is called Shoppable TrueView. You do have to have Merchant Center set up. So all that we talked about in the last session, getting your Merchant Center account set up, your feed set up, your feeds created, you have to have that done first before this isn't even an option. But once you do, and once you have a video, then you can rock this format. Now there are some limitations on the skip ad feature and when you're charged. I'll talk about that in just a minute. But first, a couple things to think about when it comes to YouTube. First of all, just as a broad stroke, your customers are on YouTube guaranteed. But if you've got anybody under 50, right, and that's a big audience, but 18 to 49 on mobile only, that age demo spends more time on YouTube than they do watching the top 10 TV shows combined during prime time. So that 7p to 10p window, that's the prime time window for TV. More people are engaged on YouTube just through mobile than on the top 10 shows combined. These stats came directly from a Google presentation that I was able to witness. And then another great stat is that on the YouTube mobile app, attention is paid attention to paid advertising is 84% higher than advertising on TV. And if you think about that, that makes sense, right? If you're watching TV at home, if it's not like a sporting event, or maybe it is, but a lot of times when you're watching at home, you're potentially watching something that's DVR'd anyway, right? If it's not live sports, you probably DVR'd it, and you're watching that, you're probably skipping the commercials. Or commercial break comes on, you got 3 to 4 minutes, you're going to hop up, go get something to eat, use the restroom, whatever the case may be. When it comes to you holding a device, holding your phone, and now that before video pops up on the YouTube app, it's really just you're only engaged with that app, right? So maybe you're going to skip it if you don't want to watch the video. And from an advertiser's perspective, I'm fine with that. If you skip my video, I'm fine with it because you've indicated that you are not interested, and now I'm most likely not going to have to pay for your view, which is great. This is interesting. So 50% of internet users looked for videos related to a product or service before they visited a store. We see this so often where there's a ton of searches now on YouTube, and that's one of the other beautiful things about YouTube is you're usually going there with a purpose, right? You're not just mindlessly surfing the channels like some people do when they're watching TV. You're not just completely unplugging and disengaging your brain. Maybe you are watching cat videos and stupid nonsense videos, which is totally fine. But you're still at least like clicking around and making some kind of conscious effort as you're doing that, rather than just being partially in a vegetative state while you're watching the tube. But we're seeing a lot of people that are going to YouTube and saying, hey, what's the new, just like I was doing with the Pixel phone, right? That was not a mindless watching of Pixel videos, I kind of wanted to know, like, what are people saying that are using the Pixel 2, the Pixel 2 XL? What are people saying that are using this new iPhone case? What are people saying that are trying out this new drill, right? Or whatever the case may be. So, or I'm looking for the best mattress or the best pillow or the best something, or I'm looking for a demo of this product. 50% of all users now are saying they're watching videos about a product or a service before they visit a store. And purchase intent 150% higher for paid YouTube video ads than for TV ads. And that was a study done by Google, a brand lift study, which is pretty interesting. And so here is the deal. And let me clarify the when you actually pay versus when you don't pay. You only pay if someone watches the video or engages with it. So let's get more specific. If a user clicks skip before the video is complete or before the 30-second mark, whichever comes first, you don't pay. So let's say you're running a 15-second video. If the user hits the skip button at the 14-second mark or the 13-second mark, you don't pay for that impression. If you're running a 1-minute video, then someone has to watch at least to the 30-second mark. It's actually a touch before that. It's like 29 and some change, but for all intents and purposes, it's 30 seconds. So they've got to get to either the whole video or the 30-second mark before you're charged, or they have to click through to your site. So if someone were, if you're watching that video like I was on the Pixel and you saw the little, the cases for the Pixel, if you were to click on that product listing ad, the advertiser would be charged for that, but they're just charged the cost per view. So when you're setting up your bids for this, and we'll walk through a campaign creation and setup here in just a minute, but when you're setting that up, you're not creating a CPC. It's not a cost per click, a max cost per click. It's a CPV, or a cost per view. And we're paying anywhere from a penny per view to 19 or 20 cents per view, kind of in that range is what we're paying. And so the beauty of that is if someone clicks through to your site, you only pay that cost per view. You don't have to pay like a different cost per click. You're just paying the CPV. Now, Google will calculate a cost per click for you. I'll show you this in AdWords in a minute. And when Google does calculate that, they do take total cost for the videos divided by clicks to get that cost per click. But the important thing to remember is if someone watches the video or if they click through, what you actually pay for that either engagement or that click is the CPV. So hopefully that makes sense. It'll become clearer kind of as we go here and as we dig in. So you've really got two options as you create your YouTube campaigns. The first option is shoppable TrueView, right? It's what we were just looking at, where you've got your PLAs right next to the video. I'm going to show you what that looks like, some other examples. Or you can run what's called standard TrueView, and that's where you've got companion banners. So you've got, basically it looks more like this, where you've got a companion banner up here that's also clickable, if you can kind of see this, where there's not the PLAs, but there's a banner here that's got a call to action that someone is going to click on. So with that kind of backdrop, let's dig into AdWords, and I will show you how to create these campaigns. So again, we're going to be working mainly in the new interface, just because that's where we're all going to be forced to go here before too long. Ezra and I both agree we still like the old interface better. But that we've been in it so long it's hard to adjust. But for your benefit, we'll be creating these in the new interface and showing you what that looks like. And so let's walk through a shoppable TrueView setup first. So again, shoppable TrueView, that is the YouTube ad with the companion product listing ads or Google Shopping ads running next to it. So again, you do have to reference session 4 and how to set up your feed, and you got to have your Merchant Center set up and all that. But let's just go ahead and set this up. So we're here in video campaigns, clicked on campaigns. Now we can click this plus campaign to create a new one. We are going video, so video campaign, voila. And so this is what we're looking at. Not so much brand awareness and reach, right? That goal would be just, hey, let's get as many eyes on this video as possible. We want more product and brand consideration. And then this is where you choose shopping. So if you wanted to do just a companion banner campaign, and I'll show you what that looks like in just a second, then you would click this option. We're going to walk through the shopping setup. So we're going to click on shopping, and then it's going to give us a prompt to choose your merchant center. So again, this is why you have to have merchant center set up. We've only got the one merchant center account, so that's what's going to pop up here. If for whatever reason you have multiple merchant center accounts attached to AdWords, it's going to list both of those. You have to select one. Most of you are just going to have one merchant center account. That should be all you need. So we're going to click continue on that. And then we've got some other options here. So I'm going to call this shoppable TrueView. Oops. Test. If I could type, that would be spectacular. So shoppable TrueView test, or however you want to name that. Now, here is where you need to pay some attention. So we are going to create a product filter. And so we're going to go here, and you can do a couple of different things. Let's say you've only got a handful of products in your feed. Let's say you got 3 or 4 products in your feed. It probably won't matter because Google's going to show 3 to 4 products regardless. So if you only have a handful of products, you don't need to really worry about this. Or what I would want to do is choose a specific product. Now, what we've done for Boom and with Cindy Joseph is whatever the video is about. So we'll look at some actual campaigns in a minute that are live and that are running. But if we're running a Boom Silk video as an example, then I'm going to make sure that primarily I'm choosing Boom Silk, or Boom Silk is the first one that I'm choosing, and then maybe some other things that go with it, right? So, but anyway, just for example here, we're just going to select some. You can choose a maximum of 10, and then basically people just have an option to scroll through. But it's really going to depend on the video. If the video is about one particular product, then I would make sure you have that product in there, and then maybe just a couple more. So we're just going to stop at 4 for this for these purposes, for the purpose of this training rather, and then we're going to look at our budget. Daily is fine. Really here it's all up to you. These are going to be based on remarketing lists, so you're not going to need much. I'm going to choose just $10 as an example. This is one where delivery method, I would go ahead and keep it on standard for the time being. And then in terms of networks, this is where you can really only, with shoppable TrueView, this is your only option. So there's not much you can do. With a standard TrueView, where you've got the companion banner, you can choose some of these other options. So this is what's called a TrueView discovery ad. You've probably seen these as well, where you conduct a search in YouTube and then you see an ad as one of the listings. So this is almost like an AdWords ad, but it's in the YouTube interface. And so actually, let me just show you an example. We'll go here to YouTube, and we'll click on a video or two, and just let's do. It's funny, I mentioned that I don't do much repair work around the house. I did just get a new drill and a new driver set. Actually, I've got the DeWalt. I think it may be one of these. Anyway, and so I'll use it when I have to. But anyway, so when you click on that, here we go. Here's our video ad, right? So, but then if we look over here, that's an ad too. Best Quiet Compressor. So these people, California Air Tools, they decided, hey, let's target people that are looking for power drills and other power tools, and then we'll run our ad here. So this is called a discovery ad. You actually only pay for that ad if someone clicks on it. So someone has to click on it and choose to watch it, and then you pay your CPV. So anyway, that would be an option if you chose a standard YouTube TrueView campaign, and so we chose shoppable. That option is not available to us. This is the only option we have, so nothing to worry about there. Languages, whatever the languages you are wanting to target. Same goes with location. Guys, you can get as detailed as you want here. If you want to choose specific states, if you want to choose specific regions, probably not that important since you're looking at remarketing, and usually when you run remarketing, you're just going to want to hit everybody that's on your remarketing list. So we're going to leave that alone. And then let's look at your CPV. Now, I'm going to show you in the prospecting, kind of the bonus module, which I'm super pumped about. Different strategy altogether there, but for this, we're going to choose CPV. But then we're going to do something a little bit different with our bid here with a remarketing group than we would if we were doing prospecting. But so we're just going to call this TrueView. I'm going to abbreviate TrueView remarketing. I do wish I could spell. There we go. And then CPV. So here, it's going to give you options, usually recommendations on, hey, usually it's 9 cents or 10 cents or whatever. For a prospecting video, we go super low. I'll talk about that more in the bonus module. But here, I'm going to go like 19 cents. So we're going to go 19 cents because basically there's not going to be any waste because we're going after a remarketing audience and I just want the video to show. Then I do like to do a little bid adjustment for popular videos. So basically what that means is if there's some really popular videos, like say someone's watching a movie trailer or something, a video that gets a lot of views, the demand to be the before video for that video is going to be a little bit higher. And so you'll have to pay a little more to get there. So I'll usually do 50 to 100% bid adjustment for popular videos. Okay, so we'll go ahead and set that up. And then demographics, guys, this is where we're going to choose our remarketing audiences. So we're going to click on audiences there. And now we can click on remarketing. And again, just so you guys know, we'll have screenshots of all this. Of course, this is being, obviously, you're watching the recording, so you can review this as much as you want. But we're going to click on remarketing. Now, here is what we can look at. Typically, I like to choose just one audience per ad group and often only one audience per campaign. And the reason for that is I like to know by looking at the campaign exactly what I'm targeting and then make budget adjustments at that point. And so that's just the way that I like to do it. You can have multiple lists here. There's nothing wrong with that, but I like to just choose one. So let's just scroll through here. And usually what you're going to set up, well, if you don't have a very big remarketing list, then you're going to want to start with all visitors, right? Just start all visitors, because if your list is small, if you do anything else, your ads just won't run, right? If you got 2,000 people on an all site visitors list, that's really pretty much all you can target. But for Boom, we got some serious lists here. So we're going to come down here and look at viewed cart or visited cart. And one of the first ones, when you get to this level, is a 30-day. Now the 7-day and 15-day convert better, but again, I'm just going to kind of pretend like maybe these lists are smaller. So I'm going to do the visited cart 30-day, and then I'm not going to worry about any of these other options. We'll talk about how to do that in the prospecting bonus module, but basically keyword targeting is where you're telling Google, hey, if someone's typing in these keywords, I want my ad to show for that keyword as well. Here, we don't really care what video they're watching or what they're doing. We just want our ad to show because it's a remarketing list. Okay. Now, this is where you're going to need to go ahead and grab a URL to a video. So we're going to go back here. I'm going to grab a Boom video and drop that in. And I'll show you as we do that Google will give you some estimates on how many people you can reach with your ad. So we're just going to grab a video. This actually may not be an ad we would run or it may not be a video we'd run as an ad, but that doesn't matter. I'm just going to grab this for our purposes here. Back here, I'm going to drop in the URL, and here we go. Now it's going to give us a preview, right? So this is kind of cool. So this is what it's going to look like on mobile. So it's going to be, Cindy Joseph here. That skip ad button's right there for people to click on that are not interested. And then we've got the actual PLAs. I'm not sure why Google chooses watches as the demo, but that's the way it's going to be when you look at yours as well. Click on desktop, and this is what it's going to look like. So you have an overlay here and or the companion banner right up here. So again, you can only choose in-stream for shoppable. That's our only option. And then let's choose the page. So this is where you want people to go. Thank you, Google. And so this is where you can look at, hey, do I want a specific landing page? Which is great. I mean, if you have like a Zipify page where you've really optimized that page for conversions, then that's great. If you feel good about your product detail page and this is a specific product video, then send them to that product page. In this case, it won't matter much because hopefully someone will be clicking on one of the PLAs. If they click on one of these product listing ads, that will take them directly to that product detail page. So you don't have to worry about that at all. What this link is for is right here. So there's going to be the option to click right here to go to the site. That's what you're controlling right here. This does not impact the PLAs. The PLAs, that's driven by the feed, and so that's all taken care of. But again, if someone clicks here, then that's what these dictate. Now here's what's cool. So you can see right here your weekly estimates, and let me zoom in on that bad boy just a little bit so you can see it. So this is going to be based on your budget, based on your list. It's going to show you how many views likely per week, how many impressions per week. Now, if I were to go up here, and I'm not 100% certain because we just chose the one list, but if I were to make that 100, then there you go. So that's going to be likely the views we would get per week, up to a couple thousand views a week, 10,000 impressions per week. We're going to be paying in that 8 cents to 16 cents on average. So even though I bid 19 cents, you're not going to be paying 19 cents most likely. And so that's what that's going to look like right there. So that is essentially it for the shoppable TrueView. And so again, we chose the subtype of shopping. And let's go back so we can look at that. Actually, let's keep that. So I'll go ahead and save this in just a second. But I'll walk through one more and show you the standard setup. But again, we named the campaign. We've got our Merchant Center tied in here because we're doing shoppable TrueView. We chose specific products, usually what you want to do, but not always. It just depends. Daily budget here, kept delivery method the same. Didn't have any options on networks because of our shoppable TrueView setup that's only available in YouTube. Max CPV is our bidding type. We did name the ad group. You really only need the one ad group here. You could create multiple if you want to, but here just created one. Oh, and actually I would call this, this was cart visitors in 30 days. That's what I would do. I would put that right in the title of the campaign. It's going to help you a lot. You'll see my actual naming conventions when we look at the campaigns that are live right now for Cindy Joseph. And so that's what I would do there. Very critical, super duper important that you choose your remarketing audience. If you don't, if you skip this remarketing step, then your YouTube ads are just going to show up to anybody and everybody, and that you're going to blow through your budget and get no results. Not worry about keywords, topics, or placements at this point. And then you created your ad here. So let's go ahead and click Save and Continue. Oops. So we'll call this whatever, however you would remember the video. I personally don't like calling it, this is ad 1, this is ad 2. If that makes sense to you, that's fine. But I want to name it something that's going to make sense. So then again, as we're running reports, as we're looking at analytics, we know, hey, that ad was the Boomstick Trio demo. I know what that is. And so now we can see how that's doing rather than looking at, ad 1 or ad 2. So the other thing you may want to do is you may want to limit some content. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this because that doesn't need to run. We've got some good campaigns going now we don't need to mess with, but I want to show you that creation. So now let's go back here to campaigns. Let me zoom out just a touch. Let's go back here to campaigns. I'm going to pause this test because it's not valuable. And then I'm going to just walk through this one more time to create a standard video campaign. So this would be not shoppable. This would be standard. Same thing, I'm going to choose product and brand consideration. I'm going to consider this though, standard consideration. I'm going to click continue. Okay. I'm going to just call this TrueView and not shoppable TrueView. And then I'm going to name it whatever audience we're going to target. Let's just do all visitors. Why not? All visitors. I'm going to do daily. I'm going to choose $10 a day. Just that's a good starting point. Here we go. So now we've got options. And so here, yeah, I actually like to choose all of them, and I'll tell you why. These discovery ads, you only pay if someone clicks on it. So show up in the search results from time to time. If it's not relevant, people ignore it, you're not going to pay anything for it. So pretty little risk to put that there. I also like to put the ads on video partners on the display network. So here's how that could go. There are certain sites that will embed YouTube videos. So, I've got a site that's all about power tools. I embed that top 10 power drills video for 2017. Now, if you wanted to, your pre-roll video could run right before the video, even if that video were embedded on another site and not on youtube.com. So I like to choose all these. You can go in and start to limit that in the future if you want to, but I like to choose all of them. Again, this is only available for standard. It's not available for shopping. For shoppable TrueView, this is your only option right here. Again, you choose your locations. We're going to keep this max CPV. We're going to name this TrueView all visitors, because again, we like to name the ad group. Same thing, similar to the campaign, but then also what list we're targeting. You could throw in remarketing there if you want to, if that makes it clear for you. Again, since this is remarketing, we're going to bid quite a bit higher. Going to go ahead and do our bid adjustment here of 100% for popular videos, because do want to show up for those typically. Now, going to choose our audience. I said all visitors, and so here's we probably only want to do realistically just last 7 days if it's an all visitors list. If you get a smaller list, you may do all visitors 30. So if I did 7, I'd want to change both the name of the ad group and the name of the campaign, just so that's clear. Okay, so now this is sometimes something you may want to do. Okay, so you could choose some placements here. You could choose specific videos. You could choose specific channels, but ultimately, I'm not that worried about it. Again, these are remarketing lists, and so it's more about the list than it is what they're watching in particular. If it's the right person and they're on YouTube, I don't really care what they're watching. I want to target them. So typically, we're not going to worry about placements in this case. Again, we create our video, and then after you create the video, after you drop in the video, then you can create your companion banner, and let me show you what a companion banner looks like. All right, now I just clicked on whatever video. I just looked at a trending video at the time of this recording. These were the 10 anticipated movies of 2017, which 2017 is practically over. As you're watching this, it probably will be over. This is a companion banner. So I'll put the dimensions in the cheat sheet for this, but I believe it's 70 by 90 is going to be the dimensions for that companion banner. This is a super creepy looking movie. I'm not into creepy movies personally, but hey, if that's your deal, that's great. Click here on this ad, it'll take you to the site, or click on this companion banner, it'll take you to the site as well. These banners also can show up here overlaid on top of the video. They will also show up on mobile as an overlay, usually right in here. And so those companion banners are super, super handy. You are going to want to run one of those with your ad without question, okay? So, all right, good. I'm not going to finish creating that campaign because that one's kind of worthless. But let's look at the actual campaigns we have here, guys, and let's talk about how they're working. Now, right now what we're running, we're about to start doing some other tests, but right now we've got visited cart 15 days, visited cart 30 days, and then bought X, not Y. I'll break that down. Un momento. This is one of my favorite campaign types. Ezra's done something similar to this on Facebook as well. This does extremely well. So let's look at cart visitors 30 days. As you can tell, we're getting most conversions from the visited cart 15 days. And it makes sense. If someone added something to cart but did not check out, and they've done that in the last 2 weeks, they're hot, man. They're a hot prospect. Let's remind them. Let's show them why they were interested in Cindy Joseph, and let's get them to convert. But 30 days is also doing well. So let's look at this. Let's look at this 15-day as an example. So this where so with the ad group. So here's where you would have multiple ad groups in the same campaign, same targeting, just different ad. And so often we'll put a little bit different ad in there and test that. And then we got the name of that. Meet the silver-haired fox. Meet the silver-haired. I said silver-haired fox. I don't think that's actually it. That's usually a dude. Anyway. So then we got different videos here. Meet the silver-haired model. There we go. And so, some of these are longer. These are longer videos. Now, I'm going to talk about video, what it takes to have a really good video here in just a second. We're going to break that down. But, these videos are a little bit longer that we're running for Cindy Joseph, and they're working. They're working well. So we're going to back up here. And so you can kind of see what we're paying as a CPV here. This one's going over 20 cents because we're bidding a little bit higher. Again, these are just those remarketing lists. And basically what we're doing here, the reason we're bidding up is because we're saying, hey, if someone's on that list, visited the cart in the last 15 days, man, we want to show up for them if they're on YouTube, no matter what. So our view rate, that's the percentage of people that see the video ad that actually watch it to the billable point. So these are all pretty long form videos. So that means the view through rate means they have to watch it to the 30-second point. So we're getting between 15 and 17% to watch that viewable point. Sometimes we see it higher. Usually like in the 12 to 20% range is normal for a view through rate. Ultimately, though, it doesn't matter. Like if my view through rate was less than this, but my conversion rate was really high, then I wouldn't care. But that's at least an indication. Like if that view through rate drops below 10%, or even maybe below 15%, you may have to start wondering, is this a decent video? With so few people actually viewing it, your cost per view is going to start to go up over time, right? So this is almost like the click-through rate. It's going back to our text ads and our Google Shopping ads. If your click-through rate's really low, Google's going to be less motivated to show your ad, right? Because they can say, hey, I've got these other ads I could show that have a higher click-through rate. Google, I'm going to make more money, Google, as Google if I run the ads with a higher click-through rate. Same goes with video. A higher view-through rate is better for Google. So Google reads that as, hey, this is a video people are interested in, and it's a video we're going to make more money on, so we're going to run it more often. So if that view rate drops below 15%, certainly below 10%, then you're going to want to think about either adjusting your targeting or reworking the video. And again, I'll show you some video tips here in just a minute. What you really want to pay attention to, is conversions and view-through conversions. So let's actually back up to the campaign level, and we can see some of the metrics that I like to look at. So on this view cart, last 15 days, you've got view-through conversions and you got conversions. So these conversions, these 126 conversions, these are people that watched the video, clicked on the PLA, and bought right then. The view-through conversions, these are people that saw the video, so they watched it, but they didn't click through. But then they did buy after viewing it. So maybe I saw the ad, I was reminded, oh, that's right, I need to buy my Boom Silk. I'm going to go back in the next day or next 2 days or whatever and actually buy it. So it's important to look at both. Treating a view-through conversion is not the same as a conversion, right? And this is one of my, going back to what Ezra and I talked about last week, some of the people, like some of the services that do remarketing, and I'll just mention one, not to pick on them overly, but AdRoll as an example, they throw in view-through conversions and they treat that just like a conversion typically. I like to pay attention to it. You need to know both because it does have an impact, but you want to treat them separately, at least to a certain degree. So what we'll often do, we've got a CPV here, a CPA goal here. And so with these campaigns, we want to be under $15 as a CPA. We're crushing that, right? With all these campaigns, we're crushing it. Now, what I also might recommend you do is look at a combined target. Okay, so even though you want to treat them differently, you still want maybe a combined target, because the view through conversion is something you need to look at. So maybe if our CPA target for direct conversions is $15, maybe this combined, I'd want to look at, okay, I'm willing to pay, $10, if it's the combined view, just as an example. So let me show you, so to add this column, this is not a column that is right out of the box, it's something you have to create. So to customize your columns, you click on these 3 vertical bars here. We're going to click on Modify Columns. Now, that column is what's called a custom column. So you got, all your conversion columns here, view through, all those things that they're selected right here. What I showed you, that's kind of the combined CPA of adding conversions and view through conversions and getting your combined CPA, that's going to be a custom column. So I already created this, but let me show you how I did that. Basically, you just start typing here. And so I put, cost, and then divided by, in parentheses, because we're adding these up, adding conversions plus view through conversions, and then taking costs and dividing by that total. So that gives us a combined, and I just labeled it so I know what it is. CPA combined conversions plus view through. So I like to look at that column. Again, you may not treat it the same as if it were just direct conversions, but it's still kind of important to look at, in my opinion. And so that's a look at that metric. Let's pop back here to campaigns, and let me drag this over so we got a better view here. So I'm going to pop back here. Oh, whoops. Let me go here to campaigns. So again, those are kind of some of the metrics we're looking at, and then what we're going to be doing in terms of our bidding is we're going to be looking at, okay, if we're below our CPA target or below our return on ad spend target, whichever number you like to look at, then I want to keep bidding up, and I want to make sure that every single time someone on that list is on YouTube, that they see my video, right? Okay, let's talk about bought X but not Y. Now we showed how to create these lists in a previous session, but I'll kind of review that. So basically what we're saying is, in this case, bought but not silk. So someone has not purchased silk, okay? And so what that looks like then is basically same videos, we're just targeting people that haven't purchased silk. And so let's go here to our shared library, audience managers, where we can see all of our lists. So let's go there. This is where we had to create a combined list. Oh, and you know what? I need to go to the legacy. To really view this properly, this list part, you need to be in the legacy version of AdWords. So now that we're here, I'm going to go shared library, going to go audiences, and now we're going to look at our audiences. So basically, what I've got here, let me show you the audience and I'll show you how we created it again. This is converted but not boom cotton. Okay, so one more time, I know we talked about this in one of the list sessions, I think it was session 2, but let me just show you. So we go remarketing list. It is website visitors, that's how you start. This is going to be bought but not boom cotton. I've already got this list, but anyway. So it's going to be what's called a combination, custom combination. And so it's going to be any of these audiences. So up to you on how you want to do this. I usually like to go pretty big window here for people that have purchased. So converted 180 days, and none of audiences where someone has visited the cotton page. I think I've already got that here somewhere. So basically what we're doing here is we have to create a list of people who have not been to the boom cotton page. And so the way you do that is you create a list of people that did visit cotton, you add that, and then you have it labeled under this so that they're not on this list. So the idea here is, if you purchased Boom Cotton, then you visited that page, right? You've been to that page. And so basically what we're saying with this custom combination is they've converted and they haven't been to the Boom Cotton page. So now we know they're a purchaser, but they have not purchased Boom Cotton. Make sense? So then we would save that and use that. I've already got this list, so I'm not going to save it. But that's the audience we're targeting then with that campaign. So I'm going to stay in the old interface just to go back here. Go back to campaigns. Here we are, video. So bought X, not Y. Doing really well. Doing really well. It's not as big as the viewed cart campaigns, but it's doing phenomenally well. It's crushing it also. So anyway, that's a quick look at the campaigns to create. I recommend you create all of these and maybe throw in an all visitor campaign. Again, if you don't have a huge remarketing list, you may have to only do all visitors for now because the other list may not be big enough to target. But those are the campaigns that we definitely want to create. And then let's talk a little bit about, how do you create a video that converts, right? And this honestly is one of the harder parts, right? How do you get a video that actually works? And how long should it be? And what should we do with this video? So let's talk through that a little bit. The first thing is you do have to hook them in the first 5 seconds, right? That's how long they have before they're likely to skip the ad. They've got the first 5 seconds. And here's what I guarantee you've done, because I've done this too. I'm at YouTube getting ready to watch a video. Up pops a pre-roll video or the before video ad. And I think, man, YouTube, I don't want to watch this ad. I want to skip it and go to my video that I came here to watch. But something in the ad hooks you and you end up watching it. You end up watching the whole thing potentially. So this classic, iconic, viral video ad, this is for Poo-Pourri. But if you remember, this is by the Harmon Brothers. We actually worked with the Harmon Brothers for one of our clients. They did a video called The Grill God, which was amazing. But anyway, this was the Poo-Pourri video. And if you remember, this lady pops on. She's got an amazing British accent, and so she hooks people right in the beginning by saying, "You would not believe the mother load I just dropped," right? And so it's like one of these really gross and offensive things to say, but the British accent in a strange way kind of makes it easier to handle and funny and weird and all that. So then she goes on to talk about how Poo-Pourri is amazing and how just spraying it in the bowl does all the stuff, and it's a phenomenal video, but you have to hook them in the first 5 seconds. So that opening line gets people to stick around and watch that video. You don't have to use humor, right? The Harmon Brothers are masters at using both humor and good selling tactics, right? They really work in the USP and they use humor. But you don't have to use humor. That's often harder to do than just going straight forward. You do want to lead with the strongest benefit, right? Makes sense. Again, this goes back to their ability to skip. One of the other kind of sayings that we use in the industry is don't bury the lead, right? The lead, the most important thing. Don't share that at the last 5 seconds of the video. Share that in the first 5 seconds. So what are your strongest benefits? So saving money, looking better, treating wrinkles, whatever, losing weight, like whatever that biggest benefit is, and kind of your unique thing. Man, lead with that. Get that right out. Don't prolong it. We had a client that showed us a video ad they wanted us to run, and the first 6 seconds, I kid you not, was the logo kind of being animated and coming into the video. And I'm like, guys, I don't want to watch this ad, and I like you. No one wants to watch your logo for 5 seconds. Get right to the point. Have the logo there, sure. I like to actually have the logo there the whole time just because it adds a little bit to branding and recall, and people see it whether they skip or not, right? But you lead with the strongest benefit. So what is that benefit? Lead with that. Also, tell the story in a fresh and compelling way. And so this is where you're going to want to look at, demonstrate the product. Do something unique with the product. I'm kind of a big fan of old infomercials, right? Like the Ginsu knives. Man, what an awesome infomercial. And that really launched the Ginsu knives. And so you could see, there'd be the video of the Ginsu knife cutting through an aluminum can, right? And then going right to slicing the tomato. And you'd see all this crazy stuff that the Ginsu knife did. And it hooked you, right? And they sold millions and millions of dollars worth of Ginsu knives because of this. But it was compelling, it was fresh, it was new, and you know, it showed the product in action. And so, how can you make your product come to life? Something as simple as a demo, or maybe it's an animated video. Zipify has a great video with like this little cartoon Ezra, and it's showing, you know, the landing pages and why Zipify pages is so much easier to build a landing page than other options that are out there. And so, you know, you want to tell the story in a fresh and compelling way. And then you got to look at some social proof. So this is a client of ours that sells derma rollers. So those are actual pictures of their users and their customers. But show that, man. Put that in the video. These are people using it. These are people. This is an actual testimonial, right? We were helping a client promote an event, and so we've got this video that's all testimonials and speakers commenting on how awesome the event is and stuff like that. But get your social proof in there. Absolutely critical for your video campaigns. And then finally, have to have a strong CTA, strong buy now and learn more offer, in my opinion. So give someone the idea that, hey, I can click through here and just find out more. I can learn more. I can watch more. I can research more, and I can buy now. So the cool thing is, you know, your product listing ads, they're going to be kind of that buy now offer as well. And then you're going to have a learn more offer, ideally right there too. So those are kind of the 5 tips for a killer video ad. Highly recommend you spend some time there. Think about this. Maybe script out your ideas. Share it with some people that know video marketing, you know, before you go ahead and produce it. It does not have to be a super expensive ad. You know, you don't have to pay someone $20,000 to create this. It can be, you know, low budget. It can be you with your iPhone. You know, I saw a video recently for a supplement company we work with. It was just the owner standing in a nice kitchen with the products on a counter in front of him. He was talking very genuinely into an iPhone, and it worked. It works. So people always ask, you know, what is the ideal length for these pre-roll videos? And really, there's no standard answer, right? You could go as short as 15 seconds. You could go as long as 4 minutes or more, right? Like Ezra has done. But ideally, usually you're going to be in the 30-second to 90-second range. That's usually what we see works. And so then my advice is, how long does it take to tell the story? Like, does it take a minute? Is the minute version more compelling? Is the minute version going to convert more than the 30-second version? If so, use that. Or do what we've done a lot, where you test a 30-second version versus a 60-second version. Now, not as easy to test video ads as it is, you know, display ads as an example, just because the production costs are higher and it's a little more time consuming to get a video ad created. But still, you can test those. And so that's a scoop right there, folks. I love this channel. I love this ad platform as a remarketing vehicle. It's an absolute no-brainer. You will sell products if you have a halfway decent video. If you have your lists you can target, you will crush it with these campaigns. So that is going to do it for session 5. Please let us know what feedback you have, what questions you have. If there's anything we didn't go into enough detail on, let me know, because this is something we will impact and we will adjust. We can, 1, answer your questions now, but 2, that will impact how we create the final version of this course. So with that, thanks for watching, everybody. Really appreciate you. And stay tuned. The bonus modules might just blow your mind a little bit as we look at how do we take this to the next level, where, you know, we got these campaigns that are targeted at our audience that's already familiar with us, people that are already looking for us. Now, how do we go top of funnel? And how do we get people that are just looking for our category, just looking for something similar to us, and maybe they don't know about us yet? Let's try to hook them as well. That's going to be the bonus module. Stay tuned for that. With that, thanks everybody, and we will chat soon.